Western art is art that was produced by the civilizations of Greece and Roman, and later by those cultures that evolved from the Greeks and the Romans. For the most part, Western art consists of those works produced by Europeans. By some definitions, Western art also includes arts that was produced by cultures that are the result of colonization by Europeans, such as the United States and Australia. The term Western art largely describes the art of Western Europe, but is also used as a general category for forms of art that are now geographically widespread but that have their roots in Europe. Art historians describe the history of Western art in terms of successive periods and/or movements, including classical, medieval, Byzantine, Romanesque, Renaissance, Baroque, Rococo, Neoclassicism, Romanticism, Realism, Impressionism, Modernism, and Postmodernism. Definitions of these periods are often debated, as it is impossible to pinpoint where they begin and end, or to account for the wide array of art produced within them. Nevertheless, such terms are indispensable in navigating the complex history and stylistic shifts of Western art across time.
Art in prehistoric civilization. The term prehistoric relates to the time before written history, specifically the writing developed in ancient Mesopotamia before 3000 BCE. This period includes visual culture like painting, sculpture, and architecture made before that date. The oldest recognized decorative art form come from the Africa date back to 100,000 BCE. Prehistoric art has four main periods: Stone Age, Neolithic, Bronze Age, and Iron Age. The Stone Age was a broad prehistoric period during which stone was widely used to make stone tools with an edge, a point, and a percussion surface. The period lasted for roughly 3.4 million years and ended between 4000 BC and 2000 BC with the advent of metalworking. The Neolithic period, or New Stone Age, is an old world archaeological period and final division of the Stone Age. It saw the Neolithic Revolution, a wide-ranging set of developments that appear to have arisen independently in several parts of the world. The Bronze Age is a historic period lasting approximately from 3300 BC to 1200 BC, characterized by the use of bronze, the presence of writing in some areas, and other early features of urban civilization. The Iron Age is the final epoch of the three-age division of the prehistory and proto-history of humanity. It was preceded by the Stone Age and Bronze Age. The concept has been mostly applied to Iron Age Europe and the ancient Near East, but also by analogy to other parts of the Old World.
Ancient art refers to the many types of art produced by the advanced cultures of ancient societies from different forms of writing. This occurred during 30,000 BC to AD 400. In the advancement of art during this period are the Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Mesoamerica. Mesopotamian art. The art of Mesopotamia rivaled that of ancient Egypt as the most grand, sophisticated, and elaborate in Western Eurasia from the 4th millennium BC until the Persian Achaemenid Empire conquered the region in 6th century BC. Some of the famous works of art of this civilization are the Ishtar Gate, the Stele of Hammurabi, and the Standard of Ur. Egyptian art. The ancient Egyptian art refers to the art produced in ancient Egypt between the 6th millennium BC and the 4th century AD, spanning from prehistoric Egypt until the Christianization of Roman Egypt. It includes paintings, sculptures, drawings on papyrus, faience, jewelry, ivories, architecture, and other art media.
Famous artwork during Egyptian art: Rosetta Stone, the Egyptian Book of Dead, and Great Sphinx of Giza.
Mesoamerican art. Mesoamerican art is rich in diversity, not only from its multi-regional cultures, but also from its various mediums and creative use of materials such as ceramic, basalt, clay, and stone.
The famous artworks in this civilization are Izapa Stela 5, Olmec figurines, and Olmec colossal heads.
Following the end of Mycenaean civilization around the 12th century BCE, the people and territories of ancient Greece slowly anew. Between 11,000 and 700 BC, during the so-called Dark Ages, the Greeks continued to interact and trade with their Mediterranean neighbors. Greek styles are broken into four distinct periods: geometric, archaic, classical, and Hellenistic. Geometric Greek art. Geometric art from about 900 to 700 BCE emerged during the early development of Greek state or polis. Greek art from this period tends to be true to the period's name, especially geometric, confining itself to the representations and repetition of shape rather than the more realistic work of the earlier periods. During this period, the most common medium was painting on vases. Emerging from the Dark Age in the last vestige of the geometric period, Greek artists began using a number of new methods and tools in their work. For the first time in almost 800 years, artists began working to recreate more realistic forms. Archaic period ushered in more natural art styles. During this period, Greeks began to carve large freestanding sculptures of human subjects from stone. Male nude statues called kouros and female clothed statues called kore began to emerge. The Classical period. Following the advances and developments of the Archaic period, the Classical period get significant growth and evolution in Greek art. Also often defined by the Greek defeat the Persians in 479 BCE, what is now known the Golden Age of Greece. The city of Athens dominated the flourishing artistic scene, and building of the Parthenon paved the way for unprecedented achievements in architecture and sculpture. Hellenistic period. Prior to the beginning of the Hellenistic period, Alexander the Great greatly expanded the Greek Empire. This led to the fostering of cultural and artistic influence from regions such as the Middle East. Ancient texts and inscriptions provide names of some famous sculptors from ancient Greece, including Phidias, Scopas, Praxiteles, and Lysippus.
The Middle Age, often referred to as the Dark Age, marked a period of economic and cultural deterioration following the fall of the Roman Empire in 476 AD. Much of the artwork produced in the early years of the period reflects that darkness, characterized by grotesque imagery and brutal scenery. It is characterized by long-parted arches, flying exterior buttresses, stained glass windows that were longer than the
Western history of art in Renaissance period. The Renaissance refers to the era in Europe from the 14th to the 16th century in which a new style in painting, sculpture, and architecture developed after the Gothic. The Renaissance was a period when a scholar and artist began to investigate what they believed to be a revival of classical learning, literature, and art. This style of painting, sculpture, and decorative art was characterized by a focus on nature and individualism, the thought of man as independent and self-reliant.
The conclusion speaks to art and language's relevance for understanding the historical shift from modern to contemporary art. It claims that the collective's importance inheres in the way that it reveals how art worlds impose and sustain a concept of art that is fundamentally unchanged amid this epochal historical transformation. The book and its arguments come to a close with a final assessment of conceptual arts, part in this historical continuity and consideration of what art and languages work offer to artistic radicalism in the aftermath of modernism and the avant-garde. The collective international collaboration of 1960s and 1970s remain vitally relevant because the collective of cultural and social impulses remain current.